So, are you okay with talking about the car situation or no?
There's more to it than wait.
What's up, girly pops? Welcome back to my podcast, The Girl with No Career. I'm your host, Kimberly, and today I have with me my very first guest, someone super special to me, my dad, Jefferson.
Thank you for having me.
Did you always know that you wanted to be in IT?
Actually, no. Growing up, I wanted to be a physical therapist, and we didn't have the money or the knowledge to send me to school. Now I know there's grants, there's scholarships, all of that. Um, I ended up joining the Navy to help out with going to school. So that's where that kind of path led me.
So the Navy is what got you into like IT and
So IT was more of an afterthought. Like even after the Navy, I was a hospital corpsman in the Navy, basically a medic, EMT, paramedic, that kind of thing. Um, and the path that it took me was through medical. Um, I realized back then, I mean, this was 1998. Home computers were becoming more prevalent into the homes. It was something I was interested in. My first computer was about $5,000 for a very basic entry level computer. And I'm like, you know, I could do this. I could build my own computer and not have to worry about that $5,000 cost that it was to get to a new computer. So that's how I kind of got into IT, was doing my own thing.
right. That must be where I get it from. I always think I can do it for cheaper and better. Wow, I didn't know that about you. I actually know very little about you. You came into my life when I was like 16 years old, and by then I was like, okay, whatever, And then a couple years later, I was out of the house, so I really don't know much about you, but I do kind of know that you were on like the fire department or something. I remember like a sticker on your car.
Yeah, at one point I was a volunteer fire department. I'm basically a jack of all trades. There is nothing that I wouldn't be beneath. There is nothing that is beneath me. Anything that needed to be done, I would do it. Whether it's volunteering in the Navy, I volunteered to join the Navy. Being a firefighter was an amazing experience. Um, I can remember one thing that I take myself back to was when I was a firefighter in New Deal. We got a call. There was a literally a 2-year-old boy trapped in an oil well. It was an oil pit where they changed the oil and dumped the oil in their garage. 2-year-old boy was caught. He fell through the trap, got caught, and we got the call to go out. And I will never forget that day. Luckily, little boy was saved. Everything was fine. It was a shallow pit. Nonetheless, he still fell in the pit, and it should have never happened. But it was an amazing experience. And even to this day, I still volunteer when needed.
Yeah, I've seen you step in a lot when others don't, especially like as far as like our family and stuff. So and that's a whole other story. But why the Navy? Do you think that the Navy like prepared you for life? So that's kind of like a two-part question. So answer
So,
however.
first part of your question is why the Navy? Why the Navy is because my grandfather was in the Navy. And he held a big part in my heart. That was one thing that I always wanted to do, was to honor him, and that's how I did it.
Is that your mom's dad?
My mom's dad, yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, and
Second part of that, you find the path that you feel is most comfortable, and joining the Navy was something that I didn't know that I wanted to do, but once I did it, that was the best decision of my life.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes, most of the time, the things that we don't know we want or don't even think that we would want, if we stopped and thought about it, we'd be like, no, I don't want that. Turn out to be like some of the best things of our lives, and always just what we need. Always just what we need. So. I have my stuff written down here because I'm forgetful. I forgot my, and we talked about this, the microphones. You were like, don't forget them. And I ended up forgetting the part that connects to my phone. So that's, I think I said that earlier, but that's why I had to do that. But let me, I keep losing it. I need my pen so I can mark it. I just want to be accurate. So, what did life look like after the Navy? I know you talked a little bit about that, but when you came home, was it difficult to transition? Did you already have a life back here? Um, were you stationed far from home?
Yeah, the last station I was in was Great Lakes, Illinois. Um, so that's kind of where I ended up. Um, it was a time when the Navy was cutting members, so I was part of that chopping block, and I did not have any idea what to do or where to go. So it led me back home to my mom's, back in Texas. And even from there, it took a little bit for me to realize, hey, I need to go back to school. And the path that I took was NIT.
Okay. How old were you at that time?
At that time, I was probably about 25, um, 26, that age, and when most people straight out of high school go to college. That wasn't my path. That wasn't the way I wanted to go at that time. And going into the Navy led me down another path that at the time I didn't know that that was the path that I needed to be on.
Okay. So you're back home, 25, decided you needed to go back to school, and you decided you decided that you were going to go back for IT?
Yeah, and like I said previously, I wanted to be a physical therapist. When I was in the Navy, I was a hospital corpsman. I actually went to a C school, which is a step above your average corpsman. It's like the specialty field.
Navy SEAL?
It was a specialty field. I went to pharmacy school as a pharmacy tech.
Wow.
I got certified in the state of California as a pharmacy tech. I was certified nationally, reached out to the state board in Texas when I got out, saying, "Hey, I'm state nationally certified." And at the time, they also wanted me to get state certified, but I didn't have the money to even do that. They were also looking at schooling as part of that certification program, and they would not accept my schooling in the Navy.
Is that crazy? That's literally like a government program. It should be nationally accepted.
Very, very. But the certification exam for the national exam to me was easy. I almost aced it just based off of my Navy experience and Navy training.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. So the Navy prepared you for not just like a career outside, like helped you find what you loved doing or what you enjoyed doing, but it also kind of prepared you for how harsh the world was going to be. Or
Yeah, yeah. For the most part, it did. When you exit the military, they do have basically a training program that you go through to help you get readjusted to civilian life from the military. It helped out a lot, but at the end of the day, there was nothing that could have prepared me for what I was about to
so
face.
you decided to go back to school. Did you end up going just like a local community college, or what did you decide to do?
So I actually applied to several schools, didn't get accepted. Um, Ended up at South Plains College in Levelland. Started on computer information systems as an associate, um, driving back and forth from Levelland to Crosbyton on the daily
Wow.
was not fun. I did the basics on on the way to get my associates. Decided that the associates was not where I was meant to be, so I applied to Lubbock Christian University and got accepted, and that is where I went to school for the duration. It was an excellent school, excellent program. Learned a lot about myself and a lot about the business of IT, and that's kind of what led me to the path that I'm on today.
Okay. Okay. So you were at a time in your life where you kind of didn't know where your life was going, but you decided to make that big decision to go ahead and do a 4-year degree. Was that a hard decision, like financially, for you at the time, or were you like okay? Did you have a job?
No, didn't have a job. Luckily for me, I was in the military. I had the GI Bill.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I also have had the opportunity for tuition assistance from the VA.
Oh,
So that's basically what I lived off of was the GI Bill and tuition assistance from the VA during the duration while going to school.
okay.
It wasn't easy. It was a hard road.
Yeah, I bet. Wow. And did you already have kids, or at this point you remarried?
Yeah. At that point, we were. I was married. We had two kids. She was actually going to school, doing the same thing, going to school off the GI Bill, doing tuition assistance from the VA, and it was really hard on both of us to do that and maintain a family with two kids.
Yeah. And did y'all have y'all's own place, or were y'all still living were y'all living in Crosbyton?
At first, when we first both started going back to school, we weren't living in Crosbyton. We did end up getting our own place in Lubbock just to make it easier on both of us to go to and from school, and it was just how we ended up viewing it. It was tough.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard enough being newly married when you're young, but then like throwing kids in it and trying to figure out what you want to do. And it seems like everyone around you already has their lives together. So,
Yeah, and then throwing school on top of that,
oh, yeah.
with both of you going to school, just makes it even harder.
Yeah.
And that's what really caused a strain in our relationship was we were both focused on school. Then we had our home life with the kids, and at this point, it is what it is.
Right.
But that's just how it happens sometimes for some people.
Yeah. And with all like everything else going on, even just being parents, you have like little time to dedicate to each other. So that marriage ultimately ended in divorce. And so y'all both went on with y'all's careers and everything like that. How did you end up? Because I think when I met you, you were doing photography, like a little bit of photography. I don't know if that was like on the side or anything like that. Um, how did you get into photography, or what
Yeah,
was that?
yeah. The photography piece came along after I graduated. Um, it was a different time. IT jobs were hard to come across.
Right. It was.
I didn't just do photography. I did odd jobs, odd IT jobs. I was traveling to go take care of this minor repair here and there, and it wasn't fun, but it at least provided some kind of financial assistance to keep things going.
Right, always while still doing what you loved and kinda getting a little bit, like, on your resume?
Yeah, a little bit more experience and a little more knowledge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hands-on stuff. Okay, how old were
So,
you when you graduated college?
let's see. I graduated college in 2008. That was a long time ago. So, in my 30s for sure.
Okay, so, like, mid, early?
Yeah, probably mid 35, 36.
Okay, and that was when you graduated with your bachelor's?
Yes.
Okay, and then, so once you finally did get a job, where or what was next? What was after college?
After college, I got a job at the help desk at University Medical Center in Lubbock. Worked there for a few months and then got fired because I had to go to divorce court in Indiana and got stuck in the snow and couldn't make it back to work on Monday.
Thanks.
So I've been dealt a hand,
Yeah,
but everybody struggles, and it's how you deal with the struggle. I just moved on.
yeah. So you were doing front desk stuff that you weren't quite in IT yet.
I was in IT doing help desk stuff, basic, password resets, stuff like that.
You said help desk, not front desk.
Correct. I didn't work at a hotel.
Oh, I did. I'm learning so much about you. I literally did not. I came into this. I was telling myself last night. I was thinking, I really don't know anything like about him. I was like, I really truly do not know like a lot about him. So this is very like eye opening and stuff.
Yeah,
Getting to know
yeah,
everything
it'll
along
be an
with
eye
the
opener for you.
entire internet.
I don't think the world is ready.
Okay. So flash forward 4 years. Where are you at?
4 years. Let's see. I got a job at Cogdell Memorial Hospital in Snyder, Texas, doing IT work. They had a requirement that I had to be within 30 minutes from the hospital.
Okay.
We were living in Crosbyton at the time, and that is more than 30 minutes away.
Right. I remember when y'all left me nearly 2 hours away.
Yeah, so that was the oil field was booming back then in Snyder. Housing was slim pickings for everybody. It was tough to find a place to live.
Yeah.
So that I could meet the requirement while I was on call, I did end up sleeping in my vehicle.
So this is where that, yeah.
Sleeping in my
See, because
vehicle
I didn't fully know that. I just thought that,
just so I could be there in the event that I got called in.
yeah. But even though you knew like why you were doing it, did you feel like, did you ever feel like ashamed of it?
No, I didn't feel ashamed. It led me to more opportunities.
Yeah, y'all definitely. It's pretty
It,
much been up from there. So
it was a struggle at first to get used to. But at the time, I looked at it as no different than camping.
he loves camping.
It was on the weekly. Every other week, it was only me and another guy doing IT work there at the hospital.
Okay, yeah, it was still pretty small.
So we would alternate. So every other week, I would have to camp out in my vehicle at a rest stop about 15 miles away from Snyder. And I did that for probably a month and a half, and then finally ended up getting a room at a hotel where the hospital paid for it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it wasn't fun, but it wasn't a drag either at the same time. It was something that I needed to do to keep pressing myself forward to get to where I needed to be.
Yeah, it was like a means to an end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also you were paying rent for the house you already lived in.
Yeah.
With your girl and kids.
Yeah.
So when did you finally find something there? Like how long was it before you found housing?
I was in the hotel probably about 6 months before something actually came open. So being on the street, basically not necessarily on the street, but in my
Right.
vehicle every other week for a month and a half, and then another few months after that, it took a while to get something.
Yeah.
I think I was on the waiting list for like 6 months.
Oh my gosh. And then when you finally did um find something, what was that like?
It was kind of a blessing. At the same time, it was a curse. I mean, I needed to move out there. Addie and your brother and sister, they had to up and leave school and go to a whole new school, a bigger school, something that they weren't used to.
Yeah.
And that was a change for everybody. Everybody.
So throughout all these ups and downs that you had from like having to live with your mom, having to stay in your car when you were on call, not being able to like find housing for a while, everything that you like went through, did you ever at any point feel like a failure, like you weren't ever going to make it like fulfill what you set out to do?
No, I didn't necessarily feel like a failure. It was a struggle, no doubt. Um, there were ups and downs, and I just did the best that I could with what I had. And I will never forget the time I was told about being broke as a joke, and that kind of stuck with me and took it to heart and knew that I never wanted to be broke as a joke ever again. Um, it doesn't matter the path that you're on or where life takes you. It's how you deal with it. The struggle that you have may not be the struggle tomorrow that it is today.
Right.
And that it's not the end all be all. It's what you make of it.
Right. Yeah. Um, I've had to learn that like coming into my 30s. I've had to learn that through a bunch of different things. Um, just these past few months, I remember you like last month telling me like I was going through some stuff and you were like saying that oh what did you say? You said like you must be like on the brink of something good because like you've been being tested a lot and I think that's true. I think it is. I think that God, like, not necessarily chooses to like put us through hard things, but He does test us right before He's about to give us our biggest blessings. So yeah. Um, how did you end up in Big Spring?
So we ended up in Big Spring by way of Snyder. Um, the company that I was with, I left Cogdell and went to another company. It was a privately owned company. They were looking to sell the company, which I didn't know at the time. Um, they were looking to sell the company, and they cut like half their staff. So about 15 of us got laid off. Uh, I was unemployed, without a job, trying to figure out what to do next. And a buddy of mine that also got laid off, we were actually trying to start our own business, doing the same thing, just another company. And he ended up getting a job out in DFW, and that dream of getting, starting up our own business just kind of fell by the wayside. Luckily for me, one of our customers that I had with that company that I got laid off from was hiring, and that just opened doors for bigger and better things. Got hired on at a hospital, at Martin County Hospital, doing IT work, and they were going through a EHR conversion for the electronic health record to a new system, and uh, that's kind of where I was promoted into IT director.
Okay.
A job based on knowledge and experience from somebody that knew me from previous jobs that I've done for them gave me an opportunity and opened that door. Um, I am still looking for another door to open. I'm not uh, stagnant. I'm not still. I'm not stopping where I'm at. Um, it's only progressed me as who I am.
And you recently graduated with your,
Master's in healthcare administration.
so you went back to school for your master's when you were,
In my 40s, I was 46. I knocked that sucker out within a year. It was a long, hard year.
was that supposed to be like a 2-year program and you finished it in 1 year?
Yeah, finished in 1 year. It was a long, hard year. Um, we were used to going on vacation, going on trips. We didn't do anything that year but me going to school.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Like you sometimes would stay here and mom would come visit. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it was tough, but I managed and made it through it. And here I am
That
today.
like time wise to be here to do your homework and stuff like that. Other than cutting back, like I'm not going anywhere, anything like that. What other sacrifices did you have to make in order to go back to school for your master's?
From a life perspective, that was it. I was working full time, going to school full time, and there was nothing outside of that that was going to stop me from pursuing that degree.
Yeah. Do you I know you said that you like of course not finished working like every day you're still trying to be better. But as far as schooling goes, are you satisfied? Like do you feel like you are where you want to be with that?
Yeah, I'm satisfied. I am just waiting on the next opportunity to present itself.
Yeah.
And, a chief operating officer, chief information officer position is what I'm looking for. But right now, it's kind of slim pickings in this area. So chances are we may have to relocate again. And if that happens, that's how it's going to happen. I mean, right now, there's really nothing out here in this area that's going to, from a job perspective, that's going to
Yeah.
keep me from pursuing my dreams of moving forward and progressing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I
Thank you
feel
so
that.
much for joining us today. Thank you for listening / watching this episode. I am so grateful that my dad could do this interview and take the time to help me get to know more about him, but to also just share his story and his journey, to let others out there know that just because you aren't on this traditional path and just because everything doesn't go the way that maybe you think it should and the way that you have planned it out for yourself does not mean that you are failing, does not mean that you are behind. You are always going to be right on time for what is made for you, for what God has set apart for you. You will always be right on time for it. You will never be late. You will never be behind. And it'll always come right when you need it and right when it is supposed to. So remember that. Take that as a blessing. If you know someone who could benefit from watching this, please share it. And if you enjoyed it, give us a subscribe, give us a like, drop a comment. Let us know if you have a similar story or if you would like to be on the podcast. Let us know. Email us at millennialgirlmom@gmail.com, and just let us know if you have an interesting story that you would like to tell, or if your life kind of is just interesting and you think that it is something that could be inspiring to others. Let us know. We are so thankful. Unfortunately, we did have 5 more minutes of our episode left, but the mics cut out unbeknownst to us, and the audio just wasn't there. So I had to just scratch that because it wasn't useful. So this is me in place heading to dinner. I hope that you all have a great rest of your week, and we will see you on the next episode. Thanks. Bye.